Chris, in general, you guys didn't play a lot of zone during the regular season. It seemed to work for Denver against OKC, and you played it against the Thunder a bit with Rudy out. How do you kind of view that as a tool that you might be able to use in this matchup tonight?
Yeah, I mean, I think at this point, you got to be obviously good at what you can do, but you also have to be willing to try different things, and give a team such as the Thunder in particular different looks. With the ball in the hands of Shea and Williams so much, if they settle into a rhythm in the game, it becomes very, very hard. So, might be able to buy yourselves a couple different possessions here and there, and if it works, you might ride with it. We haven't been, as you said, a super heavy team with zone. We were better at it last year. For some reason, not quite as good at it this year, so we haven't used it as much.
Coach.
Yeah.
As someone who's coaching the G League, coached some interesting teams, have you been surprised by the maturity that the Thunder have shown at their age?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you could see this thing coming a couple of years ago. They're young, they play hard. Mark does an amazing job with them. They've had an identity for a few years. They just keep growing into it. They play hard. They got the right guys doing the right things. There's a pecking order. They have a lot of things in place that most young teams don't. That speaks volumes to what they've been able to build here. So.
Chris, Nas has had a lot of success just in his career against Oklahoma City. Does that factor into your mind when it comes to deploying him at all, or is that just something that happens by chance?
Well, I don't know if it happens by chance. I think Nas has played in so many different roles for us over the years. His activity and his versatility is certainly extremely useful against teams such as this. We're really good. They can take away a lot of things that you're trying to do. So, we need a big game and a big series from him, as we do from all of our guys. But sometimes you just have those teams where you play well. But I'm sure they know that too. So it'll be interesting to see what they try to do to mitigate that.
Chris, over the years, you've had a lot of Lu Dort and matchups. From your perspective, what are the dynamics of that? How do you handle that?
It starts with handling the physicality. I think you gotta move all over the floor. He's gonna lay on you. He's gonna kind of hit you. And then you gotta be careful because he does a really good job of drawing fouls too. You gotta be strong and simple. I think Ant's become more accustomed to this type of defense recently, and we saw it last series with Peyton Jr. as well. Plays him very, very similarly. So, but we have to work hard to try to free him up, and and he's got to put the work in elsewhere to free himself up.
Chris, Mike and Julius seemed like they were running a lot of pick and roll together in the previous series, and seemed to have just kind of grown kind of exponentially their chemistry between the two of them over the course of the season. What's that been kind of like, maybe big picture, those two figuring out how to play together when they're both kind of run the point at times?
Yeah, I think it's something we saw early on in the season, and particularly preseason. And, for some reason we just didn't kind of use it enough. I mean, Julius was popping quite a bit back then, rolling a little bit less. We give our guys freedom to kind of read those situations sometimes. Now I think they're on the same page a lot more on when to pop, when to roll. I think, it's like anything else. It's, these chemistries take time, and they certainly take attention, and we put the attention to it, and those guys have done a really good job. And Julius has always been a really good roller. He can make plays in the pocket. He can score on the roll, and we just it's something we had to add to our offense, and couldn't have picked a better time. So,
Coach, the last two previous series for you guys, obviously the front court matchups were much different than they will be for this series.
Sure.
with Hardenstein, Chet, and even Jalen Williams last series. So for you, what does that outlook look for your guys in their front court, and how do how does the adjustment go from
definitely going to be more size out there around the rim, on the glass. Those are things we have to really pay attention to. The last two, teams, and I'm sure these guys will at points in the game, as try to go small and pull, Rudy away. But generally be a lot more traditional size out there, and they do a really good job of protecting the paint, protecting the rim, and we got to find ways to get them away from the rim. So.
Obviously, Chris, it depends on who they have out there and who they have matched up on him, but what kind of asset can Julius's ball handling be in this series as kind of a pressure release valve, whether that's coming up the court or just getting things set in the half court?
Yeah, I think not only Julius, but, everybody has an opportunity to initiate offense for us. I think that's something that we've really leaned into. But yeah, we're going to need Julius not only as a pressure release, but as a guy to create offense like we always do. And but they'll, I'm sure, adjust to that too. So other guys, whether it be Jaden or Nas or whomever, can also do similar things for us.
Any other questions? Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.